Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Paranormal Panel with our hostess, MacKenzie, all from Denver, Colorado.
That is
You,
right.
I said you're from Denver, Colorado.
Yep, I'm from Grand Junction originally and live in Aurora, Colorado right now.
Get on. So, is it sideways?
Now we're upside down.
So, I haven't live streamed for a long time, so there. So,
Technology is great when it works.
we're all on there. And it's supposed to be live.
I think it is live. It looks like it says it's live.
Okay, we're all right.
Yeah, you're cutting out quite a bit for me. But let's go ahead and just start. If each of you wants to introduce yourself and just go over a little bit of your background, let's start there.
Can you see her? Yeah.
Take it away. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Medium Rose. I am from Long Island. I do not know if we are frozen or not in this moment, but I am a medium. I am a channel from Long Island. I am here to see to support this amazing cause for women and children of domestic violence, assault survivors. Are we frozen? MacKenzie.
No, we're behind a little bit.
Are you? Yes. Okay, beautiful. So I'm a medium and a channel from Ireland. I love working in the paranormal as well as more personal events. I travel all over Ireland, going from home to home, in-house, readings for my clientele as well as Zoom that are nationwide. I also offer phone call readings for clientele who are not exactly tech savvy, and that's easier for them to do, which is fine. I do love in-person sessions as well as Zoom sessions. We always record sessions if they are on Zoom and to the client afterwards for them to, and for my clientele, I always ask them to record their session. I find it very important. One, would it make sense? It'll make sense in the future. As well as two, it's something personal and intimate and you want to keep and cherish for your life if you can. So I offer that. I also do gallery reading. I show at venues, restaurants. I perform on stage, and then I travel all over the U.S. Working in the paranormal industry, going to all of these locations, doing what I do to connect with the spirits who reside at these locations because they do have loved ones to validate their stories, to tell their stories. I get to come in to recognize them, their stories for them. Hopefully, whoever they are that run these historical locations, they could validate what I am being told. It's quite beautiful. I do love working with both more, personal and spiritual side of things for people use, as well as the paranormal industry. I really love both sides of it.
That's great.
I'm significantly less interested. I am a paranormal investigator. I own a paranormal company. We're based in Denver, Colorado. I've been investigating for 14 years. Pretty much I just travel the country and investigate haunted locations, teach other people how to investigate haunted locations. I was excited part of this because I would like to be a support of people who have survived domestic violence, assault. That's kind of my background. That's why I'm here.
Perfect. Jen, you're up.
I'm trying to fix you.
Jen, our IT person, will be with us shortly.
What about you? What's your background? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Grand Junction, Colorado. I started investigating the paranormal in 2011 or 2012. I got out of college and wanted to use my degree and saw a Craigslist ad to apply for a TV show, for a paranormal TV show, and got a host position and thought that would be super fun, and worked alongside a paranormal team. And I was like, oh, wow, there's actually something to this. This is really fun. And I've been addicted to investigating ever since. I now have my own team, XX Paranormal Communications, and our goals are primarily education. So we've actually like gone to some schools and talked to some kids about it. We've done some podcasts with some kids. And then we also do public events and really focus on kind of an intuition-based approach, really trusting your intuition and using the equipment to validate what you're feeling, and just paying attention to the energy when you walk into a room and things like that. And really wanted to be a part of this event. I think there's just so many people that are affected by domestic violence and sexual abuse and things like that. And just really want people to know that they're not alone. And there's so many people that have stories. And so I think this was a really great cause. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Beautiful.
Well, we appreciate you doing it. It's chilly here.
It was a little chilly.
So you've got some questions, the ladies can
Yeah.
ask questions and opinions and share stories and
Yeah,
experiences.
I wanted to start by asking, obviously this is kind of a women's event, Women of the Paranormal celebration. And anytime that I've kind of done a podcast or gotten interviewed, the question is kind of based around this being a male-dominated field in the paranormal. And I wanted to start by asking, do you all feel that the paranormal field is male-dominated still? Or do you think it's kind of transitioning into more of a female-dominated field?
I feel like it's technically considered male dominated because all like investigators, most of the investigators are male. Like when you go to events or if it's like a public hunt or like a private led hunt, I feel like all investigators are women. So I'm not really sure that it's dominated. I think it's just more male spectated.
Yeah,
than anything.
on TV and things like that, more representation of male investigators.
I agree. There are men that support what we do and that they couldn't get the evidence when we do either, just by investigating. Yeah, that's another reason I have this, is because all you see on TV is men, and these here are like, and how do I want it's not their assistant, but their sidekick is always a woman. And it's kind of brought up with that show where it's the detective, the psychic medium.
The Dead
Files. Yeah.
They're like, but she mainly on there. I said, but the show is not about her. It's about her and him. It's both. It's not all. It's very you see like all women or women, period.
Yeah, I think it's rare to see that representation of female teams, on TV or kind of in the media more so. And that's part of the reason I wanted to have a female team and just kind of have that representation out there. That's what the XX in our name and XX Paranormal is for, is the female chromosome, So I think women are so powerful, and I think we kind of investigate a little bit differently. I wanted to ask you all kind of if you think that you get different results when you investigate with women only, or if you think that it's different when it's like mixed men and women, if you feel that the energy is any different when you, if you've noticed.
So some of the locations that I go to date back, obviously, way back in the day, women were viewed much different. Their job was to be the the homemaker, the mom, the cook, you stay home. And a lot of these locations that I'm going to date back that time period. And I love to call the men out in spirit. For instance, on Long Island, it's called Rogers Mansion. It's a Southampton Historical Museum, and there's a doctor who owns Dr. Nugent. I do believe that he did some very sadistic things to women back in the day as a doctor. The only doctor who practiced out there. He called him out those things. I am not welcome by some in that house, and it's a very haunted on Long Island. Not so welcoming towards and that all overflows into a few locations because I am a woman who's going in and being what I do, medium, I know the ins and outs of what they did during their time. And no, Bianca, you cannot come into this room. And so I get a little bit of a different effect from the men of those times, specifically from those times, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Devin?
I feel like I've done all female situations. I've done investigating. I'm the only female. And I think it's about what your gender is and more about your approach.
Yeah, it definitely has to do with your part.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on investigations with both men and women who are super antagonistic, and it gets you just about as far as you would imagine. I've been on investigations with both women where everybody was like intelligent about how they were in the situations. A lot of the time I find that regardless of who you are, you're going to get evidence if you're just exploring more than anything. So I would say it's probably, I feel most comfortable investigating in mixed groups, but mixed groups where everybody's chill and not trying to run down hallways chasing non-existent demons.
I also think it depends on the groups. They're not always there to look for us, To them, they're not. So sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's not. It all depends on what they want to do. Because they're probably like, oh, goodness, here's another group.
Yes.
So it depends on what they want to do today. They don't want to be like, they're not on the other to constantly entertain us. So it depends where you're going and if they really want to interact or not.
I completely agree. I think it is very location based. It is very what happened in this location, what's the history of this location. And I definitely agree with Devin too. It is very energy based and who you're investigating with and what their energy is like. I've investigated with people that I feel like, there's almost a little bit of a block where it feels like, their energy is kind of putting out there that they're not open to something happening, or they're not open to that communication. And then I've investigated with other people where it's the complete opposite and they're like beacons. And I feel like, the spirits are very attracted to them and want to talk with them and are very interested or curious about them. So I agree with both of what you said.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Jen?
Not really. I think, do you laugh? I got to say, but
She doesn't have opinions.
a lot of opinions, but it does into this question. I think it's to the person as well. Some better, some women do better. It's just according to who it is and how you, like you said, approach it.
Yeah.
Go in like that, demanding stuff, and you're all demonic. You're gonna get knocked upside the head. Oh, did I say that? but you won't get anything. You can't go all gung ho, and it doesn't work out well all the time. And plus, if it's like timid spirits in there, I don't want to talk to you. Kids,
Yeah.
they're not going to be like, oh.
I feel like children spirits are going to be more open to a feminine, a woman who comes in, someone who's warm and loving. They'll be more prone to want to out to those types of investigators. This is always altering, always shifting, always changing. I work in paranormal investigators, but Island, and as far as to take base reading before every single investigation, and that base reading goes off of everything: the temperature, the moon phase, solar flares, the dew point, humidity. We incorporate every little thing that's going on in your natural habitat, because always the possibility of those things having an impact activity for that evening. You know, there's a lot I feel like that goes with it when it comes to different types of hauntings and activity that can come out at these locations. It's always changing, shifting.
On that topic, do you feel that the energy is different, or have you noticed it being different investigating on, say, a full moon or different parts of like the moon phase or things like that?
Yes, for instance, we are here this week during the full moon. Very excited. See what happens. As a medium, when I do readings and stuff, I notice that does cause an increase in impact, even more so readings. Like the level is so high. And do house clearings for clientele who's dealing with either an energy in the house or in a haunting. I love going off the moon because the reason behind, because as the moon begins to wane, we are getting rid of negative energy, that activity is happening. And then same thing with the new moon. That's when it's time to manifest and begin something fresh and good. I feel like the moon plays a big part in many things.
I agree. I definitely agree. I feel like it definitely influences some of that crazy energy too. There's an author that I follow that I really enjoy following, Richard Estep, and he's also a paramedic. And he's it seems like he's always like, okay, let's get ready. Like anytime there's a full moon, and I always really feel for like our emergency workers and things like that too on full moons. And my husband has started noticing, like he's owns restaurants, and he owns a restaurant and a cooking school, and I think he knows, like I think he notices it after the fact. He's like, "Is it a full moon tonight?" Like he starts recognizing that energy, and I really feel like there's something to that energy.
Because it affects people's, I don't know, and women with their cycle, their body cycle, their menstrual cycle. A lot of women will link up to that, think into it.
I was just talking with a friend about that yesterday, our moon cycles, and it's pretty amazing how women link up with the moon cycles. Like it's we're very linked to what's going around in the world and to the world, and to that energy. And a lot of us feel it and don't even realize what we're feeling or why we're feeling it. But question for you, Bianca, being a medium, how did you learn to trust your intuition? Were your abilities something that you grew up with, or that you developed over time, or both?
It's been around since I was a little girl. I probably should listen to my own intuition and my own abilities way more often too. I definitely benefit the world around me more than I benefit myself. I literally throw my own intuitive moments to the side, kick myself afterwards. But since I was a little girl, to communicate with the other side. It was horrifying, quite traumatizing, really scary. That should be in a movie. As a little girl, it's been with me since the age of 5. I noticed it. I don't know if I was born with it. I think I was born with it, but also I fell downstairs at that age, just on some really basement steps, and I blacked out completely. And my mom bring me to the hospital. She went upstairs, put me on the couch. I was out. And she said, when I came to, don't worry, mommy, an angel caught me. And at that moment, that's when things really shifted. So I don't know if it's because of a near-death experience, or maybe it's a combination of both, of lineage, being born with, as well as that near-death experience. But that house was so haunted and so terrifying. And I would all of the things that were there. And that's where it all went. And that's where I started to learn what I was capable of doing, even though at that age I did not know what I was doing, and I was communicating things that I shouldn't have been communicating with.
Yeah. You're like, what's happening? How do you receive your messages? So I know it, like different people, like I think it's Tyler Henry, like he kind of like scribbles things out, and like some people kind of see things, you know. There's like all the different clairs. Like how do you receive your messages?
So to refer to me as a human Ouija board, they take my hand and they make me do that like a plan check. So when I was a little girl, I started very little young. I started messing with Ouija boards. Then I realized that I could take a piece of paper and I could write the alphabet and take a quarter and speak to them like that. I realized that I didn't need the piece of paper or the quarter, that they were taking and making me write with my hand letters. And since I was a little girl, they would take my hand and they would make me write full words, sentences. And anytime I'm sitting there, all of a sudden my hand starts to do like a figure or a circle. It's because somebody's in the room and they want to talk to me. I thought I was crazy, and I thought maybe I had schizophrenia. But that's how they speak to me. So they speak through me. I am a channel. I am a medium. And they use my hand. They're very, very fast. They're reading. They are writing my hand. I do not pen. It slows me down. So I just lean on a surface like a board, and they write, and I tell you everything that they're saying while they hear and see everything. But they'll bring me to various parts of the body. Like say it was a heart attack, they make me go right to the chest. If it's dementia, stroke, they bring me right to the head. The main thing is they talk through me. They tell you everything that they are.
Wow. I wanted to ask Devin and Jen, do you feel that you have any abilities or sensitivities, or how do you incorporate your intuition when you investigate?
My only is a sick-ass sense of humor. So I am there from psychic as you. And I guess, I mean, my intuition's not great either. I'm there for the stuff of it.
That's what they all say.
I'm a psychic bone in this. Not even.
Ooh, bad.
Bianca's over here talking
Let
about
me pet it.
being
I
a
have a
human
new
Ouija
friend.
board, and I'm like, just sit there and watch that for hours. It would probably be very interesting.
She like, scientific approach to this.
Well, and MacKenzie's been with myself and business partner. She's been with us, and like we make the joke often that I am there to lead and to ask questions, and then my business partner is there to do. She's like the show, and I'm like in the background.
The show.
Show.
You two make a great team. You guys make a great team.
Yeah, Audrey is the show. She. We used to call her something, but it's a situation. I am asking questions, probably maybe a little consistently, and that's based on a desire to understand, especially when teamed with people who do have abilities, because I will never like physically understand this. Sit there and keep asking until I feel like I know more than I minutes ago. So. Persistently asking as an ability, but I got that's it.
Yeah,
humor.
I have a sick ass humor. If anybody is investigating with me tonight, I promise you, I am funny. Ryan,
He's funny.
thank you.
He had to think just a second. He's like, So for me, I a psychic like Bianca, more of a Claire, a seer. I don't love the word psychic because what she does psychic.
Well, I call it a medium because I feel like psychic owns it. It's not me, the radio. I am voice box. It's outside. They know everything, and I just let them body. Fine.
Because the way she said that, isn't it?
Do they just like? Are you allowed to like sleep?
Ask
Sometimes.
her about last night.
I got, well, I didn't get attacked, but I touched. They want to freak out. They're staying in a haunted house, ironically. Everywhere haunted. I don't understand what happened. It just happened.
She walked in and You feel the energy shift when we left? Yep.
It was bizarre.
You said it was sad. I said I was nervous, like a meeting.
Yeah, I would have abilities, but I like to call it every site, every medium, channel, whatever I call it a thumb. Everybody works differently.
Yes.
I've never met anybody who does what I do. People who do automatic writing. Me personally, I used to try to write it all down. It slows me down too much. They're talking way too fast. Try to sit there and write it all. So I make people hear me with their phone. Easier, and they get it, they get treasure, just easier that way. Screw the paper. It takes way too long to try and write what they're saying down. I just go. I just go out. It's called a thumbprint. We all work differently. Everyone has their own thing. I've never met anyone who does Ouija board stuff. I would love to, so I could have a conversation about it, but it hasn't happened yet. So it's out there in the world. It's out to me.
No, that's great. I have some mediumship abilities, but they're very light, I would say. For me, I realized that I had some. I was just kind of like testing it out to see what my abilities were. And I was in a Facebook group, and people would post like photos of their loved ones and say, you know, see if anyone could connect or get any messages. And a lady posted yeah, exactly. And a lady posted a photo of her mother that had passed and said, "Is my mom proud of me?" And I felt very connected to tell her, like, yes, your mom is proud of you. But what was weird is I was getting an image of like a baby taking their first steps. And I didn't know why that was coming to me, but I told the lady that. And she's like, she responded and she's like, you know, I never believed in this stuff until now. She's like, but my daughter took her first steps yesterday. And I was just blown away because it's so strange when you get that validation of like, oh, I'm not just making this up. Like,
yeah,
this
the validations are everything.
Yeah, it
Validations
actually means something to someone. So I'm a big proponent of telling people to trust your intuition. And anytime we go on an investigation, like especially like a public investigation, we tell people like, let us know what you're feeling. If you don't feel good when you walk in a room, let us know. If you get good energy, let us know. If you're getting words, if you're getting symbols, if you're getting images, if you're getting any of that, just say it out loud and let's ask a question around it. Let's try and validate with the equipment or the spirit box or the dowsing rods or something like that and see, you know, if we can get some validation and
validations are great because it makes you realize that it's real.
Yeah, you don't want sometimes people just feel like they're crazy. And so when you when they get that validation, they're like, oh, I didn't just make that up. Like it came from somewhere, you know? So it's nice when you when you start to trust that more. So on the lines of equipment, do you all have a piece of favorite equipment that you investigate with?
Mine's a recorder. I've always liked taking recorders around. I feel like the science behind recording things more than the science behind gadgets. So that's my default go-to.
I always say that is your best bet to catch any evidence. 99% of the time to catch everything that's going on a recorder. Always easiest to catch some EVPs, like and profound ones, not just like weird blurb note, like words. It says so much hard to try and catch photography, videography. I do really love proximity sensors. Anything that's a type of proximity sensor, whether it's a REM or the proximity balls, the cat balls, Amazon
Toy for tonight.
There's another sensor that you could hang like a door knob. If spirit goes to doorknob, it would set it off. I love those. The thing is with these TV shows, a lot of people don't realize that while the TV show is happening and the red going off, you know, the camera guys in the background is pressing the button on his walkie-talkie, which sets off every. So in a real life situation, when you're with a real scientific based team and that goes off or that proximity sensor goes off, those are huge wow moments versus the stuff that's amped up, you know, thrown out TV. So I do love that stuff. I love proximity sensors.
We tell people when we're on investigations that the best piece of equipment is the body, largely because, once again, no psychic, but body. But like, something is wrong. You're in like a haunted, like a dark basement. You're already anxious, and then it gets 250 times worse. Like, why is it getting 250 worse?
But you have to consider in that basement you have a fear cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fear cage here.
You know what that is? Fear cage. So fear cage is, you know, in your basement you have all all those electrons above you. That's your fear cage. So even if you know you're not on location and all that electromagnetic energy makes the hairs on you, that's what we consider a fear cage.
And that's why you have to cut power. Lights out, power out completely, like shut down the entire electrical box. This way, all of your equipment, you are getting these readings of EMF, electromagnetic readings. It's to decipher, is it paranormal or is it something in the environment? Is it the lighting? That's why we go, that's why we turn off all electricity. That's why your phone should always be on airplane mode, because that, you could be getting readings. So then you're in a basement with zero electricity and weird stuff's happening. Another story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jen, I know that we got started a little bit late. Are we still ending around this time or continuing? I probably have a hard stop in about 15 minutes, but wanted to fill that out because I know we got started a little bit late.
We can until you're ready.
Okay.
Until you're done.
Okay. Perfect. Let's see here. Wanted to ask how you all think we can best empower women in the field.
Say that again. How can we best empower them in the field?
Yes. How can we best empower other women that are paranormal investigators, other women that are in the field, like with this similar interest of, paranormal investigating, mediumship, all of this kind of stuff. How can we empower women more?
Not be catty.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the best way to do that is to be a good sounding board for your fellow female investigators' voices. I have run into, and I'm sure all female investigators are, but you run into a lot of the high school nonsense. Like, we're all out here doing the same thing. We're all trying to figure out not there are ghosts. We're all figuring out whether or not there's an eye. There's literally no point in being kind to each other. Being crappy to another woman investigator does not make you a better investigator. It does not make you more likely to get a TV show. It make you more likely to be at a conference. It doesn't do any of that. And it's way better for you if you just like, how cool would it be if you had 100 female investigator friends all across the country?
Yeah. Especially if you've never met someone, because she encountered someone at a conference and she was so shitty to Bianca, and Bianca had never met her before in life.
Because I'm a threat, because I'm good at what I do. I take threats to other mediums in the industry because I'm young and I'm upcoming really fast, which I am so grateful about. But for me personally, I love collaborating. I love connecting with other women. I love empowering people in the same, I love having those real compassionate friendships, working with women who love what we do for more than just one reason, for helping the living, for helping the departed, for helping us in between. Education's a big thing. I think everyone should learn and grow together, learn about the equipment together, learn about, all the different types of hauntings, learn about all of the different everything together as a team. We're all going to help build it. This entire industry cannot grow on one person. You need a village to make this real, to actually get the validation and the evidential facts that this is real, this is science, some make-believe fairy tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really love what you said about collaboration. I think the more you can work with other investigators, other teams, people have different ways of investigating, different methods. I'm one of those people that I believe you can learn something from everyone. So I think just being open-minded to other people, other people's methods, and just really, I like that collaboration piece a lot, like trying to work with other people and trying to support them. You know, if other investigators have stuff going on, like share their stuff online. Say, hey, this local investigator is like doing an investigation at this location, you know, let people know about it. You know, like I strongly believe that there's room for everyone. There's room for all of us. We all have unique talents, abilities, and ultimately, you know, like let's lift up, especially those people that have the good intentions of wanting to help the other side. And that's why I have communications in our team name too, is like, we want to communicate. We want to have a conversation, and, you know, we want to give a voice to someone that potentially, you know, would like to say something. Like, what messages do you have for us? You know, so I love that. I think it's really important that we all, especially as women, lift each other up. And so that's one of the things I wanted to ask. And I wanted to end with a fun question. Bucket list locations you want to investigate.
First location. There's a lot. There's a lot of them to be yet.
I'll take this one.
Yeah.
Pripyat or Chernobyl,
Ooh.
Pompeii, and I do plan to go to Romania.
Ooh, fun.
Because Becky got a castle to herself with Maria, and I want a castle to myself to investigate.
I have always wanted to do a castle. I think that would be amazing. And also the catacombs I think they're in like Paris, like catacombs, castles. Like, I got to do some more international ghost hunting for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
I have so many places on my list. I just came back from Guatemala and spent one of my nights in a convent, a nun convent from the 1800s, where they used to store the bodies and the walls, and it was really cool to see some really historical, haunted, creepy places in a whole nother part of the world versus just the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely pretty amazing to expand and go nationwide.
That's awesome. How about you, Devin?
I've been to a lot of the big places throughout the course of my career, because for a chunk of time, my like full day-to-day job was, you know, paranormal events and whatnot. So, realistically, current bucket list is Brushy Mountain, but I will be there in like 4 hours, so I think I have to reevaluate that list. I did recently decide that I wanted to go to the Hinsdale House, but that's like
I got a date for you.
Oh, perfect. That's like one of few locations, because I have done a lot of traveling in the United States. I guess it's probably time to go outside of the United States at this point.
So she mentioned going to the Hinsdale House, and you were mentioning collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I told you guys have had to see this, but my friend Tracy Ann, that was going to be here, that's the nurse that.
Oh, the
Yeah.
kit testing nurse, yeah.
Yeah, the nurse, and she wasn't able to be here. She was going to have a job, and she's a travel nurse. So she is actually hosting Boo Bitches Paranormal event for domestic violence and sexual assault survivors on August 24th at the Hinsdale House. And all money, after, of course, the Hinsdale House is paid, goes towards the local shelter up there, and
New York.
By me.
And then she'll have a potluck, and she'll just have like a roundtable discussion with people, and she'll have security there and stuff. Because if you've never been to the Hinsdale House, you do lose connection. Like, we had no, like, you have Wi-Fi, but it's hit or miss, and it only goes out so far. I had no signal, and we kind of had to figure our way back out leaving, because we had no GPS. So you are out in the middle of nowhere, like they say. But it's a really good cause. And like you said, collaborating. And that's actually how Tracy and I met.
Collaborating.
Yeah, because she had her event, and I saw it. I was like, what is this chick doing? Because I'd had some other woman that had, and this goes back to cattiness too. There was a woman that actually interviewed to be a team lead for 2022. And when Becky went to interview her, she goes, oh no, I'm going to be on a TV show. We're going to be filming. Well, right after Becky was declined that second interview, she said no. She took all of the wording off of my website, exact wording off my website, and tried to do her own women's event using my wording and the setup I have. And she was really shady about it. So I think she actually interviewed to get the information from me of what to do and what she needed to do. Because I looked at the wording, it was all the same. But if you're going to do something like that, say, hey, you want to buddy up? I would like to be part of this. Yeah. We can work together instead of, and that's how Tracy and I became friends. So I can be catty too. Wow.
Jen, since we, can you tell everyone just like a plug for Avalon Center and like this whole event this weekend and how people can help, how people can donate? Can you go over all of that real quick?
I actually have a GoFundMe set up for them that will go directly to them on the Facebook page on Women of the Paranormal Celebration. If you want to donate cash, we're taking stuff here. 418 North Rowan Street in Harriman as well.
Perfect.
Do you guys have questions? And
Jen, plug anything what else you have coming up that other people should know about?
So April 27th, we have Lake Erie Parafest over in Sandusky, Ohio. It will be for a domestic violence and sexual assault center over there called Safe Harbor. They take care of Erie County, Huron, and Ottawa counties. And we will have Bianca there again. Larissa Rex will be there, and we'll have another survivors panel. Cindy's going to be there. And I'm trying to think who else. We have a gentleman named Ed Lemaster who's going to be there. And I think because it's such a short time frame, it's from like 10 to 4. So we don't have a whole lot of time for speakers that day. And we'll be investigating and collecting non-perishable items there as well. Then we have the men's event on September 21st at Ashmore Estates. Same platform as women, only these are the men that are supporting the women. And we're going to split up into 2 teams there, like mixed teams and then all female teams for safety reasons. And we'll be taking donations and things for I got to think about how to say this as long. It's Hope of East Central Illinois. And then we're going back to Sandusky for the Lake Erie Hallow Fest on October 5th. And we'll be doing donations for Safe Harbor again. And I'm going to try to have that one at the Erie County Fairgrounds because we got something special up our sleeve for that one. So that'll be a 2-day event. And plus Cedar Point will be open and we can go to Halloween weekends and ride roller coasters.
I love it. Well, thanks again, Jen. Thank you again for organizing this event and the future events, all for great causes. And it was lovely to get some FaceTime with all of you. I am so bummed that I'm not out there with you guys, but I'm wishing you a very active couple of investigations this weekend and much success with everything for the Avalon Center this weekend.
Well, don't forget, you can come whenever you want.
I appreciate it so much. We'll definitely keep the door open.
Well, take care of yourself.
I definitely will. Thank you. Thank you all so much. And yeah, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, she did the beaver.
I did it too.
You two are beavers. Oh my God. They have beaver fever. Do you ladies have anything you want to share on live or questions or anything that other people might have?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the like lightning and thunder, the energy, that is the huge conduit that spirit can use to draw in.
And a ghost hunt in the tornado.
Say it again?
It's the one that produces the fake electricity that you run through.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same thing, same concept. Producing that energy. I disagree. I disagree. You're giving them a
Did you bring it with
conduit
you?
of energy.
I did not. It's
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a beautiful conduit of energy for them to draw in so they could manifest. They could either be in a full body operation or knock or turn on lights or whatever it may be that they decide to do. But that's what they need. They need that energy. And you'd rather have them draw the energy from that versus our body.
Yeah.
And then you get depleted, you know? But also remember, maybe it doesn't work for some people because they're not here to entertain us. They need to want to appear. But for me, I'm coming in to hear their story. That makes them more to want to talk to me because they could actually tell me what they want to share, you know? So it all depends where you are and if they want to interact. But it's a great conduit, yes.
I know that I'm going cryptids, but Bigfoot wise, the one I did
I haven't gotten to do any like Bigfoot hunting or anything yet.
Oh, girl.
So I would love to add that to my agenda. Aliens, I'm terrified of because of my own weird experiences. But I haven't personally got to really experience any cryptids aside from aliens, which just terrify me. I don't know why. I feel like maybe more psychic medium. I feel like they're drawn to that because of how I communicate.
And they can probably talk to you.
Exactly.
Oh, I would hate that.
Weird. She's like, I know, right?
I suddenly am also team no aliens for you.
Yeah.
I was so scared last night. We're driving. Oh, we were out in the
I'm talking
country.
about aliens and aliens and aliens.
We're driving like in the dark on the back country roads. Becky's driving slow because it's curvy. And she starts talking about aliens.
They scare me.
I'm just looking like, oh shit.
And
They're
with
gonna,
me,
they know she's calling them.
Oh, they
haven't
do know.
taken visit for a while.
If any of you are with me this
weekend,
weekend, that's when things get weird. Whenever you're with me, so just hang out with me and things get weird.
I was just like, oh shit, we're gonna be abducted in Tennessee. We're gonna be found in Georgia on top of Stone Mountain. Yeah, right.
That
We have
night
one.
when we got back, it was fine. And we get back, and I felt it the second we pulled into the driveway. I look up at the window, and I'm like, oh no. I didn't say anything to them. We got inside, and then I'm like, really like, oh no. You felt the energy in the house shift, and I was overwhelmed with sadness.
I didn't say anything. I was just waiting for it.
I felt so sad, like depressed. You could just feel the sadness. And I'm like, Jen, do you feel that? And she felt it a little bit like it was more of like an anxiety, like anxious feeling, which goes hand in hand with depression and the sadness and everything. And I'm like, someone died here, like an older gentleman. And you could feel it. It was the whole downstairs of the house on one side. So I start doing my walkthrough. Her room, Gucci. Totally nice, light and bright. I'm like, oh, you got the nice space. And the other half of the house where my room is and everything, the whole living room area, you feel that. So then Becky brings me upstairs and I'm feeling out the rooms up there. Even a different energy, heavy as well, but it made me feel drunk and dizzy, which usually means there's a lot of spirit around me. And it's so much that I instantly feel drunk. And I felt like there was a little girl in the one room, but it felt like residual. Like that was a little girl's room. And I think she was afraid all the time, but I feel like it was just normal little girl first, like being afraid of the dark. I don't know. Who knows? It could be more than that. And I go downstairs, and after acknowledging everything, it got calm because I think I acknowledged their presence, and we all felt the energy shift. And it simmered down. And I'm like, I'm like, we're here. Maybe we could talk Sunday, but I'm done with all my stuff. I need to sleep tonight, please. Like, thank you for having us in this home. I'm like, let me turn the TV on. We have some background noise going.
Sure did.
And I feel
Drowning them
someone
out.
behind me rub their hands down my back and stop midway. And they watched me freak out. I was like, oh, I felt it. I think it was he. He took his hand and rubbed it down and like stopped midway. And I was like, no. And that's what they said, that, oh, you must have liked your hair. I'm like, don't touch me. I slept on the couch.
She said, if you hear me scream, please come.
I said, please wake me up if I start screaming in my sleep, because that's a bad sign. I slept on the couch last night. I just couldn't sleep in that room.
And I even gave her the room to let her see the baby cows.
Maybe tonight I'll sleep in there.
We're like, we'll give her this room so she can see the cows.
I still get scared, and I'm so sensitive. So imagine what I'm experiencing and feeling. There's numerous times where I have to have the lights on. I'm like, please leave me alone. Like, it's a lot for me. And no, I haven't. But last night I really needed sleep. Really needed sleep so I could do what I need to do today. If I didn't get that sleep last night, you would have had me. I might not come back from Brushy. So.
Is it a normal haunting occurrence for doors to lock and shake and furniture to be?
That's more poltergeist.
Yeah.
And with
German for noisy ghost is what it translates to. It's usually, depending on how you want to look at it, it's usually like a pretty deep manifestation of like really pent up energy. And that's usually when you're watching traditional horror movies and you see like the chairs are moving or the doors are shutting or things are coming off of the wall and they're like, that's a demon. It's not. It's usually a poltergeist. They're like mischievous.
also,
Yeah, they're mischievous, and they're usually tied to feminine energy, especially like adolescents, girls that are coming of age, because there's so many things going on with them, and there's so many changes.
there's a lot of scientific tests happening right now to decipher, is it the entity or is it usually the 13-year-old girl who's going through puberty? Are they causing this manifestation, or is it being triggered, like, or is it something else coming in and being triggered by that girl?
It's more like a beacon. Think of it like they're going through so many things, they're putting out their own energy, something is drawn to that, kind of like feeds off of that type of situation. It's kind of like the door is always open, effectively.
So that's my story. It's kind of like
That's terrible.
the door is always open.
Running away.
So what in the world? That's my story. It's kind of like
That was
jumping? Are you
weird.
running now? Where are you going?
That was so weird.
So back to my story that I briefly shared, how my childhood was very traumatic and stuff, and things that were happening. So at the age of 13, that's when we started to really deal with a haunting. And I was obviously, in that age area, the house was messed up, whatever. But it was poltergeist activity, light bulbs exploding, my bed shaking violently. They would take my mom's vegetable knives and hide them on all the ledges of the doorways, doors opening, closing, things moving, like the most scariest things you could possibly imagine. And I have a lot of questions, I was that age. Was that it? There was something in the house. I was talking to this thing that called itself a dubby. Now in my 30s, I learned that a dubby means evil spirit. I have a lot of questions, Stop it. I was that age. Was that it? There was something doing that.
I don't know. It's you.
Creepy.
It's you.
Um,
It's whatever
So
was
I
at
lived
the
that.
house that followed you.
I lived that. That was my childhood, poltergeist activity, but on a whole nother level. I do question if it was low end demonic, because I was dealing with sleep paralysis, things pinning me down into the bed, things talking to me in a different language. And I started to talk in Latin on multiple, I swear on my children, okay? And I don't know how to talk in Latin. And I was able to say all these weird words in a different language and whatever it was. It wasn't full blown possession, because I didn't go bye-bye where they needed an exorcist, but it was on the cusp. I don't know how the hell I'm alive. I don't know how I got saved. Like, it's truly a miracle that I'm sitting here today.
Holy water.
Good. We need that with me. But yeah, that was my childhood. That was what I had to deal with. One day, hopefully there's a movie where I could share this with the world because it's unbelievable. Not everyone gets to experience what I did.
Is that like any teenagers or just girls? Because the only teenagers at my house.
I heard it's mostly girls.
Not any, maybe because I was more sensitive because I am a medium. Maybe that I was the perfect trigger. I have a lot of my own personal questions tied to all of that. Did I open a door even further by doing this? As a little girl, I didn't know what I was doing, the Ouija board thing. I was just calling out to anything versus, say, like sitting with you today. My intention was to speak to your loved one. As a little girl, I'm just talking. Whatever's around, it's going to just come. It's just going to talk to me. Not knowing what it is, I opened that door. I allowed anything to come. And obviously, I let something really dark and evil come. So I wonder, was it in the home? Did I call it in? Is it both? Was it multiple? It was a long journey to get to here. But I wouldn't trade any of it for anything.
You have to consider that journey and made you the person who you are.
Exactly. I will take every little moment of it. I'm grateful for all of it, even the most messed up of things. So, yeah.
Good questions? Anything you want to share? Any kind of crazy experiences? Do you guys want to hear a crazy, funny story we had? Is Becky in here? Is she at the bathroom? I'm going to tell him about Eloise. What'd she say? She won't tell. So have you guys ever been up there?
I have not had the honor of going yet.
So Eloise in Westland, Michigan. It's about an hour west of Detroit. So we went, was it last year or the year before? And we did like the public thing. We were upstairs in the doctor and nurse's quarters. Flipped on the SB7. She had something else. And you heard these, ooh, ah, ooh. Yeah. Flipped on the other one, same thing.
What?
Oh, they were getting busy. And then you could tell when they finished. Yeah. But you just heard this big, ugh. And then it got dead ass silent. That was the craziest shit we'd ever had.
I don't have any.
And we're like
that yet.
And this whole time, do you think any of us had a recorder on us? Because we're too busy, like, it was myself, Becky, her daughter, and my best friend. We were hearing it through the spirit box. Two of them.
Usually I'm the one getting like my butt grabbed.
Oh, I got a good booty story for that too.
Like, all sorts of stuff like that. And I'm always like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
But yeah, that was like the craziest, funniest thing we've had happen. So I'm like, should we go back on the same day at the same time and see if it happens again? But take recorders. What you said you had your butt grabbed? I've had
All
mine.
the time. It happens at my house a lot too. The other night I was videoing a cat balls going off with one of my haunted artifacts, and I'm laying on my side like this videotaping, and all of a sudden I feel like something grab my butt, and I'm like, did you really just do that? I'm recording while this happens, and then it happens the second time. I'm like, oh hell no. So it's, I don't know, it's here, there, everywhere.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened to you?
The weirdest thing or like the funniest thing?
Give us both.
I think the funniest thing, so I used to work for a well-known, how do I put this? A
Not in
well-known,
business anymore?
no longer in business paranormal company. And they, we had locations all over the country, and I was at Idaho Reform School, which is in Idaho. It used to be
Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be like a school for wayward girls. And I was taking groups around and we were investigating. But we started the evening by saying, like, is there anybody who wants to go into this blind, who doesn't want the history? And there was one woman who was like, I don't want to hear the history. We're like, okay. So I escorted her to a different room. We sat, we hung out. Her team members came in with her. And once they were done giving like the historical presentation, we went back out and we were investigating. And the entire night, this woman was very theatrical is the best way that I would explain it. And she kept making shit up effectively. So did her entire team. Like we would watch them scratch themselves and then be like, I've been scratched. So like that was the kind of vibe that we were dealing with. And yeah, right. So we're in the hospital portion of the house. And when the school eventually was shut down, part of the reason that it was shut down is because one of the male doctors spoke out about the conditions that the girls were in. So he was very protective of the girls. And this woman is wandering through this hospital going, he raped the girls. And like all of the evidence historically says that that absolutely did not happen, that this man was actually like the closest thing that they had to safety. And so she's just going on and on about this thing that didn't happen. We were running the spirit box. And the spirit box, as in front of 30 people, as loud as it possibly could, went, fraud. And we all just kind of stopped and we looked at her and we all felt the same thing. And she started to talk again, and the spirit box said, not you, stop talking. And so she was silent the rest of the night, and her team left very early. But they left with scratches, you know,
From each other.
From each other. It was the most interesting thing, because never in my life, if ghosts are real, never in my life have I seen one call somebody out for lying. So that's probably the funniest thing that's ever happened. It was great. She didn't go back.
Excellent.
Excellent. Also, if there are spirits there, those spirits are very nice. So
That's interesting. It's kind of funny. I give those ghosts props.
yeah, it was very silly.
So what's the craziest thing you've had happen? She says she doesn't like to talk about herself. Oh, we'll all be besties by the end of the night.
Yeah,
You're stuck in an abandoned
end
prison
on the
with us.
stream right now and just turn it into a round table.
We could. Hold on. Ready?
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Round table.